Alright, let's see. Hello? That should do something, I think. Alright, let's see. Hello? Yeah, I hear myself! That should do something, I think. Alright, so that worked. Now I've got a Discord announcement. Everyone. I knew something had to work because it was recording audio like if I wanted to do a video. So I was like, shit, if it could do videos, it should be able to freaking broadcast. And Saru and Lightblade both, XYZ both try to help me, so I knew something had to work eventually. The only downside right now is that I don't have a good thumbnail. Very shad. YouTube is all about thumbnails if you wanna get picked up by the algorithm. I don't care too much about the algorithm, but I would like to be at least somewhat presentable. So I'm gonna try to do a quick little something. Make something very basic. Something better than my red banner at the very least, because that's horrendous. I'm gonna try to make this menu screen into the thumbnail for now, and then if something better happens later, which it won't, but if something better does happen, I can change it later. I wonder if anyone will show up today. Well, I'm sure somebody will show up, but I wonder how busy people are today. I figured people wouldn't be too busy given it's like a vacation week, but I don't know about that. Light says, damn, L. Damn, what you trying to say? What you mean? You should be excited. I was thinking about streaming me failing at billiards, but let's not do that. There's a couple of things that I wanted to stream that were like, I guess, backlogged because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But now that I'm able again, that I'm capable, there are quite a few weird things that I want to stream. So, hooray. You can't hear? You're at your cousin's? Fuck that. Put me full volume. Your cousins want to hear my voice. Okay, so I have streamed this game before. I think on Twitch a few years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I played as Unica before. And I want to get more trophies, so I'm going to play as Hugo this time. I'm going to leave it on normal. That way, if I suffer, people who watch the stream can enjoy that. But if I was not streaming, I would probably play on easy just because I want to enjoy the story more than the difficulty, if that makes sense. That's kind of been my vibe lately. Like, I just want to relax. I don't want to feel particularly challenged. There are enough challenges in life. I'm missing the relevant lore. Each Ys game has its own lore, which I appreciate and I want to connect the dots of in some way, but I don't know when I'll do that. Oh, you know, they're not really speaking in English, so I'm just gonna talk over them. If anybody's listening in and they haven't played any Ys games, I highly recommend them. They're really good JRPGs. They're not turn-based like Final Fantasy, so people who want games that are not turn-based would appreciate these. Very rich in the lore. Each game, like I said, has its own lore. The recent one was Ys 10 Nordics, so they did kind of like a Viking-ish style thing. Sailing on boats, yada yada. I don't want to spoil too much. Other games have had like elves in them. Some have had like dragons. Some have had, you know, gods and this and that. Obviously, this one talked about goddesses, but like different gods. Ys 8 was cool because it was kind of like Jurassic Park. You get stranded on an island and you gotta survive, man. You gotta find everyone who was on the boat with you and make it camp and all this shit. I've been replaying that one recently, and even though I was surprised by how outdated the graphics felt compared to what I remembered, I was very much enjoying it anyway. I kind of put it on pause because then I started playing Yakuza Gaiden, which I recently beat and almost platinumed. I needed one more trophy, which was a billiards trophy. And I don't want to do the billiards thing right now, so I'm taking a break and going back to Ys. So yeah, I've been on a little bit of a Ys binge, because like I said, I want to play relaxing things, and Ys is pretty relaxing for the most part, along with being fun. But I also want to play Black Myth Wukong soon. There's a bunch of weird things that I want to play, and I don't really know what else I want to do, because I had a long list and I can't remember everything off the top of my head. But I know a lot of games came out recently. Fairy Tail had a second game that I think came out recently. There's a couple of games that are coming out soon, including a Ys remake coming out next month, which I thought I wasn't gonna buy because I already played the original on PSP, but I might just buy it. Probably won't buy it when it first releases at full price, but I might just wait for a price drop and then go for it. Okay, I don't care for the opening song, honestly. Or whatever this is. Hugo, it is best you return to the surface as well. You must track down the goddesses and bring them to Solomon Shrine. As long as you possess the eyes of fact, it shouldn't prove too difficult. However, your role in all this does not end here. Hugo, you must listen carefully from here on out. I like how it says boy in black, and for some reason I thought of Harry Potter. Looks like I made it to the surface and I'm still alive. But what just happened? Did the transport spell fail? No, it had to be something more than that. An impact like that was not the result of a mere accident. Is that? It is a powerful tree. This is something that's somewhat common to Ys games. I feel like each Ys game, maybe not each one, but several of them have some sort of tree that's significant to some extent. Indeed, it's a Rhoda tree, a tree of a soul, born of the goddesses. I suppose that explains why this is the only place around that's not thick with poisoned gases. Still, it's a miracle that this tree has managed not only to survive, but to thrive all this time amid such desolation. That voice, Rhoda, is that you? Indeed. I am one of the twin Rhoda trees given life by the goddesses. You are from Ys, are you not? Yes, that's right. My name is Hugo, Hugo Fact. Oh, a descendant of House Fact. That explains the power I sense from you. It's been many years since last I spoke with one of your line. Perhaps around 50 or so. I don't mean to be rude, but I really don't have time for idle chatter right now. I'm here in search of Lady Rhea and Lady Fina. Have you seen either of them? They vanished without a trace from Solomon's Shrine a few days ago, and no one's heard from them since. The goddesses? Yes, I did catch sight of them. About 3 days ago. So it's true then, they came down to the surface. Do you know where they went? And if they're alright? I cannot answer the latter question, I'm afraid. That's alright, if you could tell us the first, that's great. But I do still sense their presence, albeit faintly. They are inside that foul tower. Damn. I was afraid you might say that. The tower is said to be a veritable nest of demons. What the hell could those two want in a place like that? You're going after them then? I sense that your companions are not far from here. Perhaps you should regroup first. No, I must go now. There's not a moment to lose. If the others come here, please let them know that I've gone to the tower. Tell them that's where the goddesses can be found. My, such an impatient lad. But then, he is of the fact line. I just hope my worries are for naught. When I played this game the first time several years ago and played as Yuna, it was definitely a very different beginning. Because there were like more characters that she was kind of interacting with, and this guy's just on his own. Damn, what's going on here? How could one tower do all of this? This is like a very Lord of the Rings vibe to me. Not that I've watched Lord of the Rings, I've only seen bits and pieces, but this is still a very Lord of the Rings vibe. What's that? Curses, we're surrounded. Dino, Elio, Eolia, wow, I can't say this for shit. Eolia, there you go. Can you handle the beasts on your side? I think so. We'll be fine as long as we can erect a stable barrier. Alright, you two do your best to fend them off. Until I can jump in. I'll handle the demons over here as quickly as I can. What? Hugo Fact, is that you? Glad to see you in one piece, father. I'll take care of these beasts. You go help the others. Much obliged. Alright, you two, let's take these things down. Yes, father. Understood. Alright, let me see what his combat is like. The girl, I think, had something like a hammer. Jump shot, whatever. Okay, so yeah, I figured he was gonna be more of a distance fighter. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like distance fighting makes things easy mode, but at the same time, not so much. What I want to know is there, it would be cool if there was a way to like lock on to enemies and like attack while moving. I mean, so far it doesn't really seem to matter, but I wonder what combat against a boss is gonna feel like, because the bosses tend to like move around all over the place, I feel. I'd heard there were imposing creatures amongst the invading demons, but it seems these were not they. Much appreciated, Hugo. Father Shion, and you two are... I'm Eolia, an acolyte of Solomon Shrine. Thank you for your help. I too serve as an acolyte. The name's Dino. And you're Hugo Fact, it would seem. I've heard a lot about you. They say you're a magic prodigy, and from what I've seen here, I'm quite convinced they're right. No, I'm still but a novice. At any rate, may I ask why you three are here, and where are the other members of the search party? I wish I knew. All I can say for certain is that the transport spell which carried us here was interrupted. Interrupted? By the demons, you believe? Most likely, yes. Eolia and I were the ones controlling it. Then suddenly, out of the blue, the magical barrier which held us was struck by some massive force. It caused such a disruption we could no longer hold the spell together. I see. And the attack came from this tower, I assume. It did. And that's why we're here, to get to the bottom of this. But what of you? What brings you to this accursed place? Ah yes, well you see. Hugo detailed what the Rhoda had told him. What, the goddess is here? What could have compelled them to come to such a dangerous place? So that's the size of things, is it? This makes matters more urgent. We must get in contact with the others as soon as possible. Can I leave that up to you, Dino? Yes, Father. I'll begin a search of the perimeter, starting with the Rhoda trees. And what will you do? Given the welcome we received, I think it prudent to wait until the whole party's been gathered, then move out as a group. No, I believe it would be best if I were to go on ahead and survey the area alone. If the rabble we just fought was the worst this tower has in store, I don't anticipate any difficulty. As you wish. But please do take this with you at least. I got a crystal! An item of magic. Allow me to demonstrate its power. Oh, it helps me with the save points. Was this built by the demons? We had initially thought that to be the case, but it would seem not. Looks demonic. Watch closely. Shun took out a crystal identical to the one he gave Hugo. The crystal's power purified the demon statue. It's a goddess statue. I suspect that all the goddess statues left behind on the surface were brought here, then cursed in a similar fashion. Why this was done, one can only speculate, but there are likely others to be found in here. You should be able to use that crystal to purify them, just as I've done with this one. I see, that could prove beneficial indeed, given the power of these statues. But that isn't the only magic the crystal holds, it would seem. Indeed not. It can also be used to transport you instantly to the foot of any goddess statue, at least any that's been purified in this manner. I pray that it will be useful in your reconnaissance. Understood, I'll be sure to make good use of it. Take this as well, Hugo. The Leela shell. I think in East Nordics, the shell we got was also called a Leela shell, which makes this interesting. And this would be for long-range communication, no? Yes, it will allow you to contact us no matter where you are. I intended to give one to each member of the search party upon our arrival. But obviously these plans were disrupted. Indeed, a very useful tool to have, though. I will keep it safe. If that's all, then I'm going to head up into the tower proper. We'll be waiting here for the others. Come back if you find anything. And remember, the demons built this tower, so there's no way of knowing what awaits us here. Please exercise caution. I do not remember who the final boss was from my first playthrough. All I remember was that there was a centipede that was like really hard to fight for some reason, like halfway through the game. But then all of a sudden it became easy, I think. Or maybe it was easy in a different game, because I think there's like multiple centipedes throughout Ys. How come this thing doesn't take much damage? I wish there was a mini-map. Because, like, whenever I'm exploring, I like to go... Like here, for example. These dead-end spots first, that way I could collect things. And it's easier to see what's a dead-end spot with a mini-map, as opposed to me going continuously in the correct direction and then backtracking, because it's like, wait, I was curious about this spot and I didn't check it earlier. I got a panacea, which is probably something I'm not gonna use. I'm one of those people that like hoards items in games, and panaceas, I feel like, tend to be one of those items. If it's something like an antidote, then yeah, I'll probably hoard it. I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't... Oh, why is this red? I think this is powering them up or something. I also don't know how to break that, so that does me no good. Alright, so let me see. Can I destroy them? Eventually, even if it takes a while. Yes, I can. Okay, so I guess they're slightly... Oh, no, okay. They're red because they're fueling the barrier, I guess. Strange, this appears to be one of the sacred artifacts of Ys, but why is it here? Either way, it's better off with me than it is with the demons. That's facts. We got Cerulean Flabellibim. Surge of power bursts forth from the artifact. Hugo is granted use of the force field skill. Alright, so I press circle. I can negate magical traps, maybe? Gravity will have less pull, allowing us to glide. That's interesting. Perhaps this contraption was built to harness that power in some way, or siphon it. I doubt it's the only one of its kind in here. I'll have to keep my eyes open for any others. This kind of reminds me of Gauntlet Dark Legacy, which was one of my favorite PlayStation 2 games that I played with, like, literally everyone. Like, multiple best friends I played that game with. My cousin, my dad. I think one of my friends, I don't remember which friend specifically, but I think one of my friends actually finished Gauntlet Dark Legacy with me. Or if they didn't finish it, they got pretty far at least with me. Which was crazy, because that's a really... Well, it's not that long of a game, but it's long enough that somebody would have to spend at least a solid, I want to say 20 hours in your house. I kind of feel like I want to do that again. Play Gauntlet with somebody. My friends do come over and sometimes play things similar to that with me. Meaning 2-player games that we can pick up another time to continue the story. They tend to be beat 'em ups, but could be Gauntlet as well. PS2 is kind of weird though, because it needs weight on top of it to keep the disc tray down so it could read the discs, which I heard is a pretty common problem, and I just don't like dealing with that. Other than that, it works though, surprisingly. And my freaking PS2 controller I think works, which is interesting because those PS3 controllers always tend to stop working. And I don't really trust PS4 controllers that much either. But I feel like those old PS1, PS2 controllers have like a really good lifespan. I don't know why I'm just taking these hits. Oh, well, I leveled up and I gained my health back, so that's good. I'm being very careless because... I don't know, man. I don't know how to describe this game. Because of the fact that he's a distance fighter, I feel like I'm playing a bullet hell type of game. Oh, what the hell's happening? I think this happened in the girl's story as well. Where am I? Must have been a teleport trap. Can't believe I walked right into it, but the fact that a trap was even set at all means... No, there's no sense dwelling on it. I just need to make my way back to that room. And then find some means of countering the spell long enough to get through. Okay. I can save! Okay. Oh, also, what is accept divine blessing? Okay, so I spend SP and it does things. Where is my SP? I think I have 260. I think that's the purple stuff. So I could strengthen my current armor. I don't know if I get better armor in the game. Cause like, why strengthen my current armor if I'm gonna get a better one later? I also don't know what the best thing to strengthen is. Maybe this? I don't know. I'm just gonna do that, cause... Oh. It was cheap, so why not? There's a peculiarly shaped depression in the altar. Okay, yeah, it looks kind of like a heart, but also like a set of wings or something. Oh yeah, so what I was saying earlier, this feels kind of like a bullet hell game. Don't know quite how I feel about it. I kind of do like Yunika's gameplay better, because I like getting in their face with my axe or hammer or whatever it was and swinging it around. I mean, we're so used to, with RPGs, swinging a sword around that anything else feels kind of weird at first. You know, I was a big fan of Horizon Zero Dawn. Almost got the platinum trophy in it. I think I was like 2 trophies off. Loved the exploration and everything. Purchased the DLC, which I rarely do, and got all the trophies in the DLC. And I've had Forbidden West for at least a year, if not longer. Haven't played it yet. And why am I bringing that up? Because that's another game where you could have some ranged combat. It's a game that I should have started a long time ago. I also never finished God of War Ragnarok. I don't know why, but I just couldn't get into it in quite the same way I got into the first God of War game on PS4. And I heard that Ragnarok is really good, but it's just, you know, I think it was just bad timing. I think when it came out, there were a lot of other games that I wanted to play at the time. And since then, like, more and more games keep coming out that I would prefer to have higher on my list. I don't have the amount of free time that I used to have. I feel like when it comes to these types of games that are gonna take like 30 to 50 hours, I could probably play 1 per month and get through it. And I think way back in the day, I could have done much more. Like, I probably could have done like 2 really long games per month, maybe, give or take. So this is just when you're so limited. And sometimes I want to replay games too. I want to replay like old games, kind of like I'm doing now, because I played this before. So yeah, new games is kind of pointless. I do still buy new games, but I'm cutting back and waiting for sales because it's like I have so many games I gotta catch up with. Okay, it's a Rhoda fruit, so that's not whatever goes in the depression of that alter thing. But yeah, got a lot of games that I want to catch up with. And I've been second guessing myself recently as a person who collects physical games. Because this synopsis of a book that I was reading was talking about how with the video game industry, they're always extracting rare metals. That's probably for the consoles though, and not so much for the discs. Could be for both, who knows? But I was wondering, I was like, dang, is buying discs kind of a bad thing? Is it better for the environment or for something else if I buy digital games? But I don't know, I don't like digital games. I've heard people argue you don't really own the game and other things that I can't remember, so I don't know. I like having the games on my dang shelf. Jesus, I don't know which way to go. Should I go right? Should I go left? Does it tell me what level I am? I don't feel like it does. I mean, if I pause the game, I'm sure it will. Like a status menu, but interesting if they had it underneath his face. Yikes. Okay, what have I accomplished? Somehow I summoned a magic circle. I wonder if the layout of the tower is the same for him as it was for Unica. I feel like I heard somebody say that the layout is different for both characters, but I don't know if my memory betrays me because it's been a long time since I've streamed the first playthrough, and I honestly don't remember who was there watching and who was talking to me about things. So what do I know? If my boy Cold Steel was here, he could answer all my questions, but he's not here. What's up with the volcano? This same tower is in Ys 1, and I don't remember there being a volcano-like setting surrounding it. Random words! What? I do have a Rhoda fruit. What in the world are you? A demon? No, this is no ordinary demon. Which means this must be a Rue! One of the sacred beasts of Ys. Poor things must have been transformed into demons by the noxious gases outside. Truly sorry for what happened to you, but if your intent is to attack me... I have no idea what you're trying to say. If Rico were here, he might be able to understand you, but I'm simply at a loss. Did its tummy just grumble? Are you hungry? Is that it? Yes, your stomach told me as much. I believe the Roo are known for their love of Rota fruit. Wonder what would have happened if I hadn't found the Rota fruit. Is that? It is. It's a piece of Claria ore. Well, it's giving me something. Hugo's wand has been strengthened. Thank you. What just happened? Ah, I see. You used the magic to refine it on the spot and infuse my wand with its essence. Not bad at all. Seems even demon transformation can't impede those famous Roo talents I've heard so much about. I appreciate the help, little one. You're as kindly as they say. Cool. Yeah, it says level 2 now. Nice. These guys respawned. Works for me. Gain more experience off of them and SP. I'm one of those people where if there's an enemy in front of me in an RPG, I kind of feel the need to fight it, even if I've already like fought these guys. It's like may as well get as much EXP as possible. I'm sure other people might just run right by them, but it's like this won't take that long anyway, may as well. I think when I first played this game and I cleared it with Unica, it unlocked like a third character. And right now I'm playing this on my PS5. So I get, and I plugged in like my old external drive, but it seems like the game like app was saved onto the external drive, but I guess the memory from my prior save was stored on the PS4 and not on the drive. So I'm basically playing from scratch here. So I couldn't pick the third character, but I think there's a third character, which is weird because I thought this guy was the third character, but I guess not. I wonder where he went. Who knows? He is a sorcerer, so maybe he has some kind of spell to hide himself. Heh. He sure didn't waste any time getting his pasty ass away from us, did he? Still can't figure out what the deal is with this mask he dropped, though. Who are you people? Another sorcerer. It's like an infestation. This one's a regular stuffed shirt, too. Probably the dull and humorless type. I don't appreciate having to repeat myself. Who are you? There should be no humans left on the surface aside from our own search party. Did you come here from outside of Ys? Hahaha, what a question. Where the hell else would we have come from, dumbass? Damn. Hey, Kishgul, you mind if I do the honors? Losing that Runts trail pissed me the hell off. I could go for a good kill right about now. Do what you want. I'm not interested in fighting sorcerers. Hey. Sorry, pal. I'm the one who you'll be fighting. Epona's the name, and combat's my game. I'm a master of the Trident, as you'll soon be learning firsthand. I figured 3 points are better than 1, you know? Facts. You sorcerer types are really annoying, you know that? You're all stoic and moody, acting like you're so much better than everyone else. Well, I was told to kill everyone except the goddesses, and let me tell you, I'm really looking forward to this thing. The hell are you laughing at? Oh, nothing. It's just that you sized me up rather quickly and decided you didn't like me. And I impulsively did the same to you. See, I can't stand women who talk too much. Dang! On top of that, your sense of style is severely lacking. Your trident is laughably cheap looking, and you seem overall unintelligent. What? Ugh. You know what this means? OTP. They're definitely gonna get it on by the end of this. Epona, was it? If you're gonna fight me, just get it over with. It should prove most educational for you. You son of a... Think you're hot stuff, huh? Well, I'll knock some sense into that smug head of yours. So, again, I wonder what this is gonna feel like, considering I don't think there's a lock on. But I guess... Oh. I was gonna say, I guess him having range makes the fight easy, but... Suddenly it ain't feeling so easy, because she jumps right over to you quite quickly, and she also does a good deal of damage, I feel. Yeah, I think a lock-on would have been helpful. Otherwise, I have to, like, constantly run to dodge, and then aim face toward her. Oh my god. Yep. It sucks without lock-on and without, like, I don't think there's an actual, like, dodge button. Like, there's that shieldy thing that kind of seems to suck. Like, she broke the shield very quickly. And I have to constantly tap to attack. I can't just, like, hold the button. Which isn't that big a deal, but it's something. Yeah, this sucks. Because, like, even if I jump, I'm not really dodging. So it feels like there's, like, no good way to dodge attacks. Like, if she closes the distance too quickly, it's like, I'm just up. Oh, I thought she was gonna stay stuck behind that wall there. See that? That's crazy. Like, she jumps right to where I am. It looked like I was behind her, but then she, like, turned around so quickly. I mean, it ended up working out in the end, but still. It looks like you're the one who got some sense knocked into you. Okay, we found the Mask of Eyes. Another magic-infused relic from Ys? Damn you. I'm impressed you're able to move so swiftly after what you've just been through. Whatever savage tribe you came from must have put great value on training one's constitution. I'm no savage, you asshole. I'm a Darkling, and I'm proud of it. Darkling? Ah, shit. I can't believe I lost to a pompous ass like you. I must have underestimated your abilities. Because I sure as hell didn't overestimate mine. Personally, I'd say your abilities aren't as well honed as you think. If they were, you'd have known right away that you were simply no match for me. Well, you've just gotta come back for everything, don't you? How about we go for a second round? Then you'll see what I can really... What is it now? You look an awful lot like him. Maybe I'm just imagining it, but I swear I can see a resemblance. To whom are you referring? Never mind. I'll let you off easy for now. Just be ready for what's coming to you next time we meet. Wait. I guess she doesn't pose much of a threat, so there's no need for a frantic chase. But still, if she's a Darkling, then that all but confirms everything Father said. He really is somewhere here. Who's he? The sorcerer guy? I think the sorcerer guy might be related to this dude. But I don't know, and I don't care at the moment. Oh, this is the beginning of the tower again. That's why that treasure chest was open. So I guess we're gonna backtrack now and not fall for the trap that the plot made us fall for. Or maybe it's even deactivated. Who knows? Algorithm bump? What's going on, Jemmy Bridges? How you doing today? Thanks for stopping in. Have you played Ys games? I'm wondering how the algorithm helped you find this place. I know I've also done a lot of different videos, and that God who knows has watched those or subscribed from those, so I don't know if you've come from an old video or something. But welcome. I hope you had a good holiday. Oh yeah, I had the TG16 version. What's a TG16? This is the PS4 one. Originally, I played it on the PS4, I think 2 years ago on Twitch, and I played as Unica. And now I slipped it into my PS5, and I'm playing as Hugo, because pretty sure I'll get trophies for doing so that I didn't get before. I don't remember if it's just one trophy or multiple trophies, but I'm hoping I get something. I also don't know if, and I was talking about this to myself earlier, I don't know if the layout of the tower is different if you play as Hugo or if it's the same, and I don't know if the bosses are different or the same. It's kind of hard to tell. Like right now I just fought the girl, Epona, and I don't remember if Unica fought her or if Unica fought the dude that Epona was with. I think I need to use the Mask of Dark Fact or whatever. This thing. Okay. Yep. Alright, I figured that out. I was about to say, like, why am I at a dead end when there was nowhere else to go? Hugo, is that you? TurboGrafx X16 NEC Turbo Duo, it's where the dub version originated? Whoa. That is a big name that I have never heard of. I want to say that's a console, but that is such a long and complicated name that I have to wonder if it's like something else, like an emulator or something. Have you played any of the other Ys games? I just finished Ys Nordics, which is kind of why I want to binge replay some of the older ones. I also started replaying Ys 8 off stream, and I was enjoying that, but I wasn't getting any trophies because I had almost all of them, which I didn't realize. I thought I was missing like a good deal of them, but it's the opposite. I actually have like a lot. Rico Gemma, the guy who might be able to talk to Ruse. Thank the goddesses you're safe. I've been so worried about everyone, what with the transport spell bursting and flinging us all over creation. I'm glad to see you're safe as well, but why are you this far into the tower already? Did Father Shion send you to accompany me? I'm not sure I follow. Hugo explained to Rico everything that had happened thus far. Lady Rhea and Lady Fina are in here? I had no idea! So then what are you doing here, bro? I just happened to be lying in a heap in front of this tower when I woke up. There were demons all around me and I was choking on all the noxious vapors outside, so I figured I'd take my chances in here. But of course, those same two thugs you encountered caught sight of me and gave chase. And so here I am. Okay, so this is the guy that Epona and her friend were looking for. I thought they were looking for somebody more powerful. This guy seems kind of mid. And an excellent hiding place it is. They were thrown off your trail entirely. Now, I must say, you really do have rotten luck. There are 10 versions of the TurboGrafx. I bought it specifically for Ys's books 1 and 2, and then never played it. I've played Ys 1 and 2 two ways. First, I played them on Steam, That was also like maybe 4 years ago when the pandemic had basically just started. I was streaming it on Discord. Because I used to do that. I used to do Discord streams, and now I'm just like not doing that. Although we do other things in the Discord though, like Scriblio sometimes, and Footsies, which is another Steam game. But yeah, then eventually I got the Ys 1 and 2 on PSP. It was like on eBay, and it was like $80, maybe $90. But I just wanted to have a physical of like every Ys game, you know what I mean? So I was like, F it. I think I had just gotten like a new job at the time too, so I had some extra money to splurge. And I was like, let me just get it so that I can have it even though I've already played it. You know what I mean? So I'm a big Ys fan. I'm glad to see that you seem to be a big Ys fan. I'm surprised you haven't played 1 and 2 though. I have a friend, they go by the online name Cold Steel, because they like, you know, all these Falcom type games. And I think Ys 1 is their favorite game, if I'm not mistaken. And I don't know if that's like a nostalgia thing. I forget what their reasoning was, because, you know, with all the newer games that are like so much better, you know, I'm not saying the Ys 1 was bad, but it was a very short game. Like, I feel like you could complete it in like 5 hours, compared to all these games that have a lot more depth to them, you know what I mean? But yeah, you should definitely play them. They're fun, they're quick, won't take too much of your time. If you're enjoying holiday season, like if you have time off from school or work right now, anything like that, you know, it would be worth getting into, since it won't spill into when you go back to your duties. What's going on, Lord? How you doing, bud? Yikes, 90? Yeah, I had all physical copies and lost everything. How did you lose everything? Did, like, you actually lost it, or you, like, decided to sell it? Because I had a friend who sold a lot of his old games, and then he regretted it. Like, his PS2 games, his GameCube games. You heard you could finish it in 15 minutes? That's crazy. That's crazy. I could never. Just like the final dungeon, it takes like an hour because it's like so confusing. I don't think you have a mini-map. Maybe you do, but it's hard to tell like where you've been, where you're supposed to go. It's like a very good, well-created maze. Yeah, one of them managed to get in a lucky hit. Don't even know which one. All I felt was a sudden, intense pain. I guess, ironically, all that did was make me run faster, which was really quite unpleasant. Have you played, like, any of the newer, like, PS4-ish ones, I guess? I'm curious to know what your favorite is, if you have a favorite Ys game. Right now, I think, like, the latest 3 games are my top 3 favorites. It's hard to say what my favorite is, but I think I have a lot of nostalgia for Ys 8, because Ys 8 was my first Ys game. And it's a very relaxing Ys game as well. I mean, all of them are kind of relaxing, but I don't know, I like the whole island vibe. And the exploration was really good in Ys 8. Nope, selling is a losing battle. I just collected and played when laid off, but lost my storage unit. Oh, dang! I am not too familiar with storage units, so I don't know what losing them entails. Is it kind of like you stop paying for it and people just claim everything inside of it? I've seen like storage facilities that you pay monthly fees for, but I've also seen like on YouTube or maybe TV like these storage things that people bid on. So I've never actually used one, but I've seen like different types of storagey things. Nico, do you still play Genshin? I haven't played Genshin in I think like 2 years. Ever since I got Nahida, I was like, yeah, Nahida! And then I just stopped after I finished, I think, building her. So yeah, I haven't been playing Genshin. I've thought about going back to Genshin. I don't think I will though, because it just didn't make sense to spend 2 hours doing the same thing every day, like the dailies and the resin. I think it makes more sense to do what I'm doing right now, like play different games with my free time, instead of playing the same game and doing the same thing, if that makes sense. I thought about playing Infinity Nikki. I don't know if I will, but yeah, it looks really good. I was really hyped about it when I first saw like the initial trailer, and I know people like Azure and Sorry were having fun with it, but I just don't know if I want to play another gacha game. In the meantime, I'll continue working my way up the tower, and don't worry, I'll make certain Father Shion knows you're here. Much obliged. I own quite a few new Yeeses, but currently playing a dozen Switch games. I'm the opposite of you, man. Like, I have a lot of Switch games here that I haven't gotten around to yet. One of them is Luigi's Mansion 3, which I've wanted to play for a long time, but here I am playing Yeast games. I also have Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. I had them for like a year, haven't played them yet. I have the Zelda, what is it called? Ruined Kingdom or something? The second Breath of the Wild game. But I kind of got stuck with that one. And I got stuck in the beginning of the game, so it's pretty bad. But yeah, I feel you, man. Like, there's a lot of good games out there, and we have to make tough choices. What Switch games are you playing, though? Kind of like that, but this was a weird deal. I ran into a Quanon nut who lied and said my unit was sold. Then they fired her, and turns out my stuff was there, but I didn't have the late fee money. That is suspicious and weird. Huh. That kind of reminds me of, even though this might be a very different thing, but it reminds me of one of my friends said that they were doing their taxes, and the tax preparer, which was like a very legit company, a well-known company, somebody there like used his info to, I guess, siphon money from his bank, which didn't sound good. But it's just that kind of vibe where you have people in these professional positions and you never know what their intentions are. I'm sorry that happened to you, man. That freaking sucks. That's kind of one of the reasons why I don't know too much about storage, though, because I just don't trust it. It seems weird. Like, if something's valuable to me, I want to keep it in the house. And then if something is not valuable to me, then there's no point storing it, because if it's not valuable, then I should just toss it or donate it, if that makes sense. Even though it's hard sometimes to toss certain things, like they don't want to... You have to recycle it a certain way, or maybe nobody wants it, and, you know, I don't know. It's challenging keeping things tidy. I'll say that, but yeah, storage is a lot. At least to me. I don't know. I'm sure it makes other people's lives easier, but and I've seen some people who probably need it. Like, there's this one house where I live, and they just have a bunch of junk in their front yard. Like, they were cleaning out their garage or something, and they left it all in their front yard. And I'm like, man, these people, they need a storage unit. This is who it was built for. But yeah. And they too seem to be seeking the goddesses. You bought all the big name games but got bored? Which ones were boring you, man? You know, I feel that, though. I feel that. Like, sometimes I feel like with Nintendo games, this might be a sin to say because everybody simps Nintendo, but I feel sometimes with Nintendo games it's fun for like the first 4, maybe 10 hours, which is like the first half of the game, or maybe even the first quarter of the game, depending on how long the game is. And then you reach a point where you're just like, eh. And that's kind of why I like PlayStation games better, because with PlayStation, even if a game gets boring, I'll still be motivated just for the trophies. And that kind of, like, keeps me on track to finish the game. And make it worth my money, I guess. But, yeah, you know, games be like that. I was actually saying earlier to nobody, when nobody was here, that I'd never finished God of War Ragnarok, even though it's a good game. And it was just because there have been so many other games that caught my attention more since then. Storage is always a scam, but sometimes you do not have space. Makes more sense if you have an expensive hobby. You don't rebuy a kayak every time you go to a river. Yeah, do you do kayaking? That would be sick. I've been seeing a lot of those hot Japanese girls camping. Like, YouTube always puts those in my recommended feed. And it's very motivating. Like, it makes me want to move to Japan. It makes me want to learn how to camp. Not just because there's hot girls out there camping, but because it just looks relaxing. But also because you never know, I might bump into a hot camping girl and, you know, could be my future wife. Zelda, I couldn't start Breath of the Wild because I could only play on bus to work, so I got puzzle games. Breath of the Wild was such a good game, man. If you ever have time to get into it, that was another game that was like pinnacle of relaxation, just enjoying exploration. And I think we all need some relaxation nowadays, not gonna lie. Outside of Ys, I wasn't aware people actually lived anywhere else. The thought never even crossed my mind, in fact. The information doesn't really help us much, though. The only important thing we know about them is that they're hostile, which means we need to find Lady Rhea and Lady Fina before they do. Well, they're hostile toward you, dude. They might not be hostile toward the goddesses, so... yeah, I'd say that's a given. Oh, hey, before you go, I have something you might want to take with you. More stuff! I just got a mask and now I got a necklace. Isn't this your family's charm? Right, my father loaned it to me. It's supposed to have the power to ward off evil. As long as you're wearing it, enemy magic, like the trap spell you described, should have far less of an effect on you. I see. That sounds most useful. You have my thanks. Oh, I missed the hot girls, but did get a 6'8" hot blonde with a wolf, a real wolf, when I camped in the desert outside Las Vegas. How is that even possible to be 6'8"? That's crazy. I feel like I've seen people who are like... I'm 6 feet, okay, just for reference. And I feel like I've seen people who are like 6'4", 6'5", but 6'8" is crazy, dude. Did you... I'm guessing you knew her well enough to, like, get her ethnicity. Like, what was her ethnicity? What country do you have to be from to be that tall? And what was she doing in the desert outside Las Vegas and not in the WNBA? I'm so confused with this game right now. It seems like I have to backtrack and then use the necklace, which I just equipped anyway. But I thought this was the spot where the trap was, but instead it was the spot where Rico was, so that's kind of confusing to me. Which again is why it would help if there was a mini map or even a big map, but whatever, I'll figure it out. Don't know, I'm 6'4", all my friends are taller than me. I don't know, she just wandered in when I was trying to be antisocial. Jesus Christ. Wait, so you're just out there in the desert chilling, like you were camping yourself, and she just like wasn't a fellow camper, she just strolled up to you, she's like, hey. Dude, that's pretty bussin', man. That's like the type of thing that I would want to happen to me. Like, it doesn't even have to be a girl, it could just be like a cool dude who wants to like shoot the breeze the way you and I are doing right now. But I just love it when like random people are just like willing to chat. But man, dude, that sounds like a good experience. Do you go camping often? I have a friend, he does like snowboarding and paintballing and things, so he often goes to like those quiet areas, I guess, what I feel are quiet areas, like, you know, not urban settings, to do that type of cool stuff. And I feel like he would be into camping. I don't know if he's ever actually camped. I think he did once, maybe. I feel like we talked about that recently. But he doesn't do it often. And I feel like if I'm gonna ever camp with someone, he would be the guy that would give me the inside scoop. Like, I was even showing him the camping videos, and he was finding, like, the ins and outs of things. Like, he was like, oh, those tents, they need maintenance for their waterproofing and yada yada. And I was like, yo, this is stuff I would have never even thought of, but that's cool that he knows those things, because he would probably be my go-to. Hugo, it's really you! Hot blonde girl who is not 6'8", but good enough! It's you! Praise the goddesses! Don't the newer version have minimaps, or is that just the remade one? I think it might be a remade game. All I know is that it's on PS4, and I think this is the European, the PAL version. I don't know much beyond that. Where did you land? Did you have any trouble getting to the tower? No, I made it okay. Fortunately, I was with her the whole time. So, you're in One Piece as well, Cadena. I try to do that stuff once or twice a year. Often is expensive. Gotta be a trust fund baby. A great tent won't leak. Is it expensive? Like, how expensive are we talking? Because I don't really know, like, everything you need. But what's, like, a range? Are we talking, like, 1,000 to 5,000? 5,000 to 10,000? And if you do spend however much you're spending, right? Are you set? Or do you have to, like, keep buying more stuff later on? Like, do certain things run out? Like you said, a good tent might last, so you probably won't need another tent. But what are things that you have to, like, keep replenishing, I guess? Dino managed to track us down, and we only just arrived here a short while ago. Good to see his efforts are bearing fruit. I saw this one guy earlier on YouTube. I didn't click his video, but I screenshotted it so I could watch it later. It was like... I don't know if... I think his channel name or the video name was like Extreme something. And basically he was like in a really cold environment with snow, I think. And he was camping with no tent and no sleeping bag. And the thumbnail was just like him sitting. There was like a big rock behind him. He had his back against the rock. And then in front of him, he's got his campfire going. And I'm like, shit, dude. That seems interesting. Because, like, that's like some real survival stuff going on there. Is it really true that Lady Rhea and Lady Fina are in this tower? It would seem so, yes. But they're not the only ones. Huh? He would detail all the events that had occurred since his arrival in the tower. Wow, people from outside of Ys. You know what I was gonna say earlier, and I was blanking that there was something I wanted to respond to. But now I've got it. You're lucky that you're 6'4". Because me, personally, I like shorter girls. But if you're 6'4", I feel like everyone's a shorter girl. But with me, like a shorter girl would be like 5'6" or shorter. Like, within the span that I'm talking about. That's like one of my, I don't want to say fetish. Fetish is a strong word. That's one of my preferences. Short girls, definitely hot. Especially if it's short girl with big opi. Slamming. Short stacks, as they call them. There is Walmart, there's Ray, 500 to 1,000, then there's Scientific Research. Real Outdoors People. Okay, so we're talking 500 to 1,000. You know, have you seen... Like, I don't know if you have, like, a traditional camp setup that you typically do, but have you seen the people who have, like, a car or a van, and they transform that as part of their camp setup? Because I don't know if I'm remembering this correctly, but I feel like there was this girl, probably in Japan again, because, you know, that's where, that's what I keep watching, and I feel like the tent was on top of her car, right? But I feel like she didn't have to get out her car to get into the tent. I feel like she was able to climb up from her car into the tent or something like that. Regardless, whatever setup she had was like almost like a 2-floor little thing, and it was just so cool. Cause like on one floor, I guess the first floor, right, was like her car, but also like her cooking area. And then I feel like the second floor was like her resting area. And the resting area had like that see-through window type thing where she's just like looking out into the rain while reading a book. It just seems so heavenly, man. It may even benefit us to get in touch with the 6 priests if time and circumstances permit. You don't use a tent, just blankets wrapped in a windproofed way? Dang, that's gangster, man. L's next cramps being over to kiss shorter girls. You know what, man? That's kind of true, but I guess you gotta pick them up or something, man. You gotta pick them up, or you just gotta throw them down into the bed and kiss them in the bed, man. You know what I mean? You make it work. You make it work. Those are trust fund babies if US. Yeah, there are camper trucks with pop-up tents for people on safari. I mean, you're saying people in the US, but like I said, I keep seeing this in like Asian countries. I mean, I'm sure people in the US do like the same thing, but YouTube isn't showing me those US videos. And for good reason, man, because Japan just probably seems more relaxing of a vibe anyway. And that's the vibe that I'm trying to watch, man. The one that I was watching yesterday, I don't know who the girl is, but I don't know if there's a Discord link with Nightbot. If you join the Discord, I could probably send you some of these videos later. But the girl I was watching yesterday, man, she has such a soothing, like, relaxing voice too, man. It was like the whole vibe. The camping vibe looks chill. It's like raining and the sound of the rain is like relaxing. Then the girl's voice is soothing, and I'm like, yo, what a vibe. So yeah, I've been into those videos. It seems like a weird thing because I don't hear a lot of people talk about those types of videos. Everybody's too busy with their TikToks. And then here I am like, yeah, camping! I'll try to gather as much info as I can until everyone's been assembled. Well, can I go with you? I've got healing magic after all. It could come in pretty handy if you get into a bind. I believe this service would be better afforded to Rico, given his injuries. With your aid, I'm certain he could be back on his feet in no time. Yeah, I guess you're right. Man, is he ever clueless? Okay, so I guess blonde girl likes Hugo? And Hugo's like throwing her into the arms of another man? I mean, he does seem like the clueless type though, man. Okay then, I guess that settles that. We'll go help Rico recover, then reconvene with Shion. You be careful in here, alright? I will, you two do the same. I will see you later, Hugo. Yo, you saw how she was like walking back and still staring at him? How do you not pick up what she's putting down, my guy? Slowly but surely, it seems the search party is taking shape once more. Once the Holy Knights have started combing this place, it'll be tough for me to keep moving without constant interruption. I need to make as much progress now as I possibly can. Well, in Japan specifically, they have a weird, not homeless culture where people can get away with living like that. But it's crazy because they have a 100,000 empty old houses. You know, I heard that at one point they were like selling those houses for like $1. And then I was watching this YouTube video like this week, and it was like this I don't know how you call it, but like this multi-ethnic family, I guess, where the wife seemed to be Japanese, but the husband seemed to be a white guy, and they had a daughter. And they were living in Japan, but like, I guess in a village-like setting. So I guess it kind of seemed like they had possibly one of those houses, right? One of those cheap ones that the government's trying to give away. And they were talking about like their expenses living out there, how you definitely need a car, so you're paying for gas. But the rent is like nothing. It's like $0 rent. And you could live out there for like, they were saying about 1,000, right? But I don't know if they meant like 1,000 a month or 1,000 a week. I'm guessing they meant a month, but they weren't really specifying that too well. But they were talking about how they live near the farms and they always buy like the organic food. And since they're buying it straight from the source, even though it's organic, it's still pretty cheap because, you know, you're cutting out the middleman. And they were talking about some of the other like expenses that they have and, you know, things like that. But I also wondered, and I didn't get this from the video, like if they work, like what type of work are they doing out there? How does that help their expenses? Or if they're kind of living off of savings, kind of like an early retirement because it's so cheap out there anyway. But yeah, man, I kind of, not gonna lie, I've been jealous of like what I see in these videos, and I've been kind of wishing that I could live that lifestyle. And part of it is because I wish I was in an area that was like closer to nature, I guess. And part of it's also just like the relaxing vibe of it all. And I know people, like some friends that I talk to, they've lived for a short time in those types of, I guess, like village settings. Like I have a friend in America who said they lived pretty close to the an Amish community that had and like farms and things like that. and they said that it was like relaxing, and all the well water was like really good for their skin, and the fresh air was great, and you know, it's something that I want to experience. But then the thing that's interesting about it is that you hear people, they always say how when they lived in that setting they had a great experience, right? But then it's always like a past tense thing, you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, you had this great experience, but from what it sounds like, you're living in an urban setting again. So it's like, if that was such a great experience, what drove you to come back? And I'm sure, you know, it could be a lot of different things, job opportunities, whatever. But I don't know, man. Like, it's weird to me because it makes me think that that type of life, even though it's like better and people love it, it's maybe not sustainable. So it's, I kind of wonder, because I want to have that experience, and I feel like if I experience it at all, I would want it to be long term. Like, I feel like I would get hooked on it, and I would like not want to come back to an urban setting. So it's kind of like, damn, like I feel like I gotta do research before I like actually, if I were to ever actually try to pursue that, I would have to do a lot of research ahead of time. But like, even where I am now, I try to do like some of what they're doing. Like, I can't, you know, buy food directly from a farm, right? But I do buy food, like meats at least, from this good butcher that I trust. And the butcher, he gets stuff like directly from the farm, and I trust it more than like supermarket meats, obviously. So I try to get organic food as much as possible. So it's just, that's kind of I envision that as being like the optimal lifestyle, which is why I watch people live in it, and I'm like, I'm kind of jealous, man, kind of jealous. You live near Amish? They can be asshats? Damn! I mean, I feel like I've heard that too. But it's individuals just like anywhere else. It's fun to visit, super boring to live, that's why I moved. You know what? I think that's what it is. I think that's why people move back, because they feel it's boring. Because I have a friend right now, well, it's my manager. So I have a new manager, and they lived in a completely different urban part of the US. Hold on. Yeah, just put it on the floor. I don't know. You're trying to give it to me, so just put it on the floor. And close the door. Some package just came. Alright, so yeah, so I was saying, I have a manager who lived in an urban part of the US, and now they're where I am, in a different urban area. And they moved to where I am now, I guess, because they wanted a less boring life. Which is weird to me, because it's like, well, you were already in an urban setting. And I get it, right? Like, eventually, you might feel like you've done it all wherever you live if you've been there for X amount of years. Let's say 10 years, just as like a random number. So it always helps to move somewhere new and have a new, refreshing experience. But I don't know, man. It's still weird. Like, you're already in the urban area, and you had to escape it to get to a different urban area for a more fun experience. It's like, I don't know. I feel like people, there has to be a way to, wherever you are, have fun. And if you find it, and I guess not everybody always finds it. I need a particular key. Okay. This doesn't seem good. What the hell do I do? Does that mean I need to use my mask somewhere? Was there like a hidden thing? Should I just keep the mask on and explore again? Okay, so I see you said earlier there was a couple of things that I missed while I was ranting. Dense Japanese protagonist syndromes. Nico, when is the next Scriblio? I don't know, because last time that I did Scriblio, like, we did Scriblio a couple of times, right? And the first, like, 3 or 4 times I did it within the past few months, I feel like people were passionate about it. We had, like, a routine going. People were into it. And then the last time I did Scriblio, I feel like Azure said they were gonna come, or maybe it was somebody else and they just didn't show up. And Cassie, who usually shows up, didn't show up. And, it was partly my fault, because it was like a very last-minute announcement, I think. Or maybe I announced it the day before, which was still kind of last-minute. I don't remember the details. But I know, like, the only people who showed up were, like, me, XYZ, and Click. And the 3 of us still had fun, don't get me wrong. But I was kind of wondering if the Discord was getting tired of that, if they needed a break from that. And that's why I haven't done it in a few weeks, because I felt like maybe, and people could have just been busy with like schoolwork and stuff like that. You know, a lot of the people in the Discord are in high school, they're in university, so no matter how old they are, they have homework. Myself included, because I'm also doing university right now. But yeah, I was just confused. I couldn't tell if people were getting tired of it or not, so I decided a little break would be good. And nobody has really asked me about it. Like, the people who were really, like, participating, like, Azure hasn't asked me about it. I really do feel like she got tired of it. XYZ hasn't asked me about it. Sushi would play because, you know, him and I were really good friends, so I feel like he wanted to, you know, not let me down, in a sense. But he was also really busy, often, whenever we had that scheduled. So I kind of feel like he was, like, in and out, and he didn't really have a lot of wiggle room with that, so I don't want to put pressure on him, is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, there's a lot of things going on regarding the Scriblio. A lot of factors that I was trying to take into consideration. Yeah, I really thought about that, but getting a job is hard, and Japanese are xenophobic. I don't think they're all xenophobic, though. I think there are some who are excited about foreigners. And I do think that there are more job opportunities in Japan than we realize. So, like, for example, we all know that you could be an English teacher, right? That's like the default stereotypical thing. But I was trying to see if there were other good alternatives, because I do have a teaching degree. So being an English teacher probably wouldn't be too difficult for me. It would be right up my alley. But I'm also not teaching at the moment. I got into a different field, and I'm not sure if I want to go back into teaching. So I was trying to see what other opportunities Japan had for us foreigners. And they talked about how, like, the tourist industry, like, service industry needs a lot of English speakers. And I was like, okay, that doesn't exactly sound like a career, but it does sound kind of fun, and it does sound interesting as, like, a, you know, something that I could do for a while before moving on to something better in Japan. You know what I mean? So I do think that there's opportunities out there. I heard recently that they're trying to make their visas easier to obtain. I know that they're specifically trying to do it for the Chinese, because I guess they have, like, similar language, so they might have similar, like, close fluency. But they might be doing it for other foreigners as well. I would have to research it more. If you are raising kids, super boring is awesome. There were no poisonous animals, it's flat, super hard to die unless you're careless. I'm not raising kids, but I really do want to have kids. That's always been, like, a dream, a goal, a priority of mine. And I do agree with you that if you're raising kids somewhere, either suburban, rural, anywhere not urban is, like, the ideal. Because urban is just freaking chaotic, man. It is freaking chaotic. I'm surprised that there's not too many poisonous animals, because I feel like I've been in some places where I don't necessarily know if the animals were poisonous, but they were like snakes and other things, and I always wonder, like, is this a safe snake? Is this a poisonous snake? But yeah. Lord says, I ask, did you do it near the holidays? Everyone was busy on real life. I think the last time we did Scriblio. I don't know if it was around Thanksgiving. It's definitely been a month or more than a month. I want to say it was probably sometime in October. I'm not 100% sure though. It might have been like mid-November, like before Thanksgiving-ish. Definitely not this month though. Before I go in here, I should see if I could use my SP to level something up. Azure's fake fan though? I mean, Azure is like unpredictable, cause like yesterday, for example, or the past couple of days, her and I have been talking, and she has seemed engaged in the conversation, and then there are other times where she just doesn't seem interested in being around. So yeah, I don't know what to make of that. It's like sometimes she seems really excited about being around, and then other times not so much. And I do think the school and school demands play a role in that. I think if she had more free time, she would be around more. And right now she also said that she's having some sort of Wi-Fi issue, so that doesn't help. Real estate agents are usually in high demand in Japan. Is that true? Where did you hear that? Especially if you're bilingual or trilingual. I feel like it's easy to be a real estate agent only because I've seen people who don't have much education become a real estate agent. To be more specific, I'm talking about people in my family who I know for a fact are dum-dums. So yeah, that could be an easy job to get into, probably. There are a ton of good jobs, but you basically have to be N5. So you know what's interesting? I heard, if I'm not mistaken, I heard that if you're N1, then technically you could read about... I don't know if N5 is the highest, N1 is the lowest. I think N5 is the highest, from what you're saying. But I think with like the lowest one, which is probably the N1, you can read about 30% of a Japanese newspaper. So I feel like even if you're N1, that's decent. I don't know. I have this app, it's Mango something for language learning, so I should use it, but I haven't been using it. I've been bad. I've been uncommitted. And I was trying to learn the freaking hiragana and katakana, but there's like hundreds of characters, man. It's so much. And I don't really have like a organized learning structure, because I was trying to learn independently, and I'm like, you know what, this is not something that could be done independently. It would have to be either through a school or through a program like Rosetta Stone or some other program like the app that I have that gives me like a structure. This is a much larger room than I'd expect to find here, and completely empty no less. Which means it's probably a trap. The enemy is most likely to come from above. That's not good. Oh damn, dude, this guy is huge. I remember this one from when we played as Unica. Can't say this is quite what I was expecting. It must be one of the 6 enormous demons that attacked the east. Well, you've met your match, demon. It's time I put them through their paces. I feel like there's a specific part of it that I have to hit. Like the head looks like that part. I just don't know how to get up there. I'm guessing if I keep attacking this mouth, eventually the head will fall down. Oh! I was mentioning earlier before you guys got here how it kind of sucks that there's not really a lock-on button and that there's not really a dodge button. Not that the game is like overly difficult, but I feel like those things would have been handy. Because clearly, as you can see, I can't aim for shit, so... Especially if it's like a diagonal like this, these angles are always weird, man. Like, I guess I don't have good, like, visual spatial sense of some sort. I'll read chat when I'm in a few minutes, guys. Like, feel free to send any messages that come to mind, and I will catch up. Because right now I'm just, like, afraid of death. And I don't know what I'm doing, because, like, when I hit the mouth, numbers pop up, so I'm doing something. But then the bubbles freaking shield the mouth. And I don't know how long it's gonna take for the head to drop, if it'll drop. Okay, I think I gotta climb the arms. Oh, fuck. You know how hard it is to climb this thing at this angle? I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like this was so much easier, or so much more... Yeah, I guess easier is the best word, as Unica, because I could just get up close and personal. Which I've been saying non-stop. Which is weird, too, because I feel like ranged fighting should be easier. But I feel like it's the opposite. I feel like close range, for me, ends up being easier. What the fuck is this? I'm gonna die, dude. I think I'm gonna have to refight him. I don't think this is going to go well. Because at first it was easy, but now he's doing attacks that I don't know how to dodge. I don't understand his patterns. Oh, Jesus. Gonna have to do this 2 more times. Let me just catch up with chat real quick. Can I pause? How do I pause? I guess I can't pause. Alright, guys. Well, I will catch up with chat. Don't worry. Just not right at this moment. Old games require a lot of redo by death. That is pure facts, man. You know what? I was playing the Yakuza game recently, Like a Dragon Gaiden. And you know how in the Yakuza games they always have like the arcades and things like that that let you play like the really old school games as mini games? So I was playing like those old Sega games, I think it was. And in a lot of those old games, you die in 1 hit. And I was like, bro, how did anyone ever have fun with these games way back when, in the 90s or whatever? I like how I didn't... I thought it was gonna restart me at the door. That way I could have read chat more, but it restarted me right in the battle. I should have waited a moment. I wish we could have gotten a better armor by now. Because I feel like every time they get a hit, it does so much freaking damage. And I feel like I'm also normally a player that doesn't like being careful when I'm fighting. I kind of like to just like get up in there and like bash the enemy. And with these Ys games, like particularly this game, it just doesn't seem like you could be reckless. Which is kind of not good for my impulsive nature. Okay. There's a really good Nintendo handheld game for learning Japanese. Oh yeah, I think you're talking about My Japanese Coach. I had it, and then like an idiot, I sold it. I don't think it's expensive though. I think it's like 20 bucks, give or take. And they also have other languages. They have like My Chinese Coach, My French Coach, My Spanish Coach. I think I still own some of them. Or maybe I sold them all, I don't know. Because I had like 4 of them. I had the Japanese one, I had the Chinese one, I had the French one, and I had the Spanish one. And I remember, like, you're right, back then, when I was playing that game, I felt like I was learning, and it was going kind of well, I thought. The only problem I would say is that sometimes they would make you write the Japanese characters, and I feel like the touchscreen wasn't really good at recognizing what you were doing. Like, it kind of expected you to be too perfect. So even if I felt like I drew the character well, it wouldn't accept it. And I was kind of pissed about that. I would get annoying. But I also heard that one of my friends, he was taking Japanese in our university. And the professor for the Japanese class was kind of the same way. Like, even if you thought it looked right, she would be really strict about how it has to look a perfect, like, certain way. So, like, and to me, I couldn't understand what he was talking about, right? Because he would show me his characters, and then he would show me, like, how it was supposed to look. And I'm like, dude, you drew it exactly how it's supposed to be. It looks the same to me. And he's like, no, it's, like, just off in this way. And I'm like, what are you saying? It looks perfect, my dude. So it's kind of crazy to me how the professors and the software are just, like, picking up on these things that to me seem either slight or non-existent, you know what I mean? And it makes a big deal out of it. And I guess Japan would be the same way, you know? I guess it would have to be perfect, and I want to respect, you know, the culture and all that. But at the same time, like, visually, if it's hard for me to see the difference visually, then what am I supposed to do about it, you know what I mean? It's like if you're colorblind, what are you supposed to do about being colorblind, you know what I mean? Like, if I can't see what you're telling me, like, how can I improve? And I feel like with that was something that it would be very hard for me to, like, see and recognize. I feel like this is when he usually gets me, with that freaking roar attack. Stupid bubbles! Oh god, oh god. Okay, I think this is it. Hope so. Please. Please be done. Because you know how some bosses have, like, phase 2, so I'm just like, please be done. Alright, he seems dead. I'm happy. Japanese are perfectionists, so you can't write sloppy. Something about a prince creating language in the sand, whole folktale behind it. Is it the type of folktale that I could find in a children's book and read it and appreciate it? You know what I read recently? Have you ever read or heard about the tale of Momotaro, the Peach Boy? So I was watching, well, I wasn't watching. I was reading this manga called Peach Boy Riverside, and it's kind of like a retelling of Momotaro in a very different way. It was inspired by Momotaro, but it isn't necessarily Momotaro, if that makes sense. And it's a really great manga. I've read 13 volumes of it so far, and I recommended it to a lot of people, and they've been reading it. The anime I don't recommend because it's out of order chronologically. So, for example, episode 4 should technically be episode 1. Like, episode 4 is chapter 1 of the manga. That doesn't make sense, right? So, yeah. But anyway, the Japanese, their little folktales are really cute, really fun. I wish, like, I had actual books of them, because when I read the Momotaro, it was like a PDF. But if it was like an actual book, I think I would have probably purchased it. I need to proceed onward. The goddesses must be found. But yeah, you know, I mean, I don't blame them for being perfectionists, because I'm also a perfectionist. Like, if something could be even just a little bit better, I want it to be a little bit better, and I'm willing to put in the effort to make it a little bit better. So, but, you know, like I said, it's like, if I can't see what it is that's supposed to be better, like, if it's hard for me to recognize visually, then that kind of stifles me, you know what I mean? I feel like there's, like, not much I could do about it, but maybe there is. So it's something that I gotta figure out. Maybe, but it's historical as well. Just poorly documented because it didn't have a written language. So then, I think I've seen Peach Boy. Definitely saw Peach Girl. Okay, so Peach Boy Riverside, the main character is definitely more so the blonde girl character. So if you remember like a blonde girl with like reddish pink eyes, her name is Saltarine. And she starts off with long hair, but then she cuts it, and then she has short hair. Then yeah, you probably have seen it. Like I said, if you ever decide to get into the manga, and if you happen to have joined the Discord, then bro, we gotta talk about, at some point, like the manga and like best characters. For the record, I'm a Juicerino simp. I will say that right now. It's a cultural thing. They're also like that with woodwork. They just launched an all-wood satellite. That's crazy, dude. That's cool, though. It's fucking cool. You know what I saw that was cool? I think this was in Korea, though. They made these giant wheels, and I think they're supposed to be for, like, wheelchair users. And the wheels kind of, like, absorb, I guess, the impact, and they mold themselves to flexibly adapt to, like, rigid surfaces. So, like, let's say a surface is, like, really gravelly, and it would be, like, hard to wheel across with a normal wheelchair. Something, like, really bumpy. It doesn't even have to be gravel. It could be something a little bit more large than that. The wheelchair will still, like, go over it without the wheel popping or taking any damage. It's like, imagine if your wheels were made of, like, marshmallows or rubber bands or something, I guess. Kind of like Luffy from One Piece, where it's just, like, stretching and dealing with it. So I saw that briefly. I think it might have been a YouTube video, I'm not sure. Or it might have been on television, on, like, a news thing. But it was so cool, man. I was like, shit, man, look at us being innovative. Even though I'm not Korean, so I guess it's not us. But look at us as humans being innovative. Hugo is now able to dash. Peach Boy, also called Momotaro. It has an anime, that's what I saw. This one was specifically called Peach Boy Riverside. I don't know if there's another Peach Boy type anime, but it wouldn't surprise me if there is. I'm sure there is. Okay, so this is normal walking. And if I dash, he gets, like, dirt behind him, kind of like the guy from Charlie Brown. I think it's easier to do if you're using... Because like I said, I'm playing PS5. So if I use the D-pad, I think it's easier than if I use the joysticks. Oh man, that didn't seem good enough. They need to give me... you know, dash or not, they gotta give me a little bit more time here. Alright, well I made it. What are some of your favorite anime? I've seen... Because I keep up my anime list, so I know my numbers. Apparently I've seen around 545 anime. And I've read over 300 manga. I mean, some of those are still, like, ongoing. I'm not saying that those are all, like, completed. Some of those are also, like, things that I decided to drop. But I'm at least familiar... Oh god, I died. I wasn't paying attention much. But I'm at least familiar with that many titles. Oh, I have to go get the thing again? I don't have the dash. I gotta get the dash again. That sucks. That's life, though. That's fair. I understand. Old school game. No autosave. Makes you do stuff again. Fair enough. If this would have been a modern game, it would have been like... You already got the things, so don't worry about it. I think they have tech in... They have that tech in the Mars rover. It's so nice that everyday people get the tech. For real, man. Like, I don't know to what extent wheelchair users have had issues with that, because I do feel like our societies nowadays have done a lot to try to make things wheelchair accessible. But I'm sure, you know, it's gonna be beneficial to them in some way. And that's important, because, like, when you're in a wheelchair, you want to feel as capable and competent as possible. And I know that firsthand, not because I've been in a wheelchair, so maybe not firsthand, but I know that secondhand because my grandmother has recently had to start using a wheelchair, and I could kind of see how frustrating it is. And it's not something that you always think about. Like, some people that you see with wheelchairs, they've had it for so long that they don't seem frustrated by it. But then when you know somebody who it's like new to them, and you see how frustrating it can be, it's kind of like, shit, what can we do to make this as easy as possible? And that seems to be what Korea is doing. You know, I think that's a step in the right direction. Okay, let me not die this time. Now you wonder if James and the Giant Peach came from that folktale? You know, I watched James and the Giant Peach as a kid. I had it on tape and all that. I don't remember much about it. I do remember that some of his, like, insect or whatever they were, friends, were kind of creepy looking. And I think as a kid I thought they were sus. And I can't remember if they were friendly or if they were kind of sus. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to eat him. I just can't remember, though. And I watched it a few times when I was a kid, but, you know, you never remember the finer details of what you saw as a kid, even if you watched it, like, 500 times as a kid. I mean, sometimes you do, but sometimes things don't stick. I was too little. I was probably, like, 5. So I know I watched that a lot when I was 5. I watched The Little Mermaid a lot. I'm sure a lot of those Disney movies in general I rewatched. But Pixar movies too, which is also Disney, but whatever. Let me distinguish in case there's a purpose to distinguishing. I figure different names have different meanings. My leg just fell asleep and it is terrible. Holy shit. You know when you get that feeling that there's like 1,000 needles in your leg? Like that's happening to me right now. 900 anime, but only 100 manga. Damn, 900 anime. Dude, how? I think about 2 years ago, I was at 300 anime. So I think I've been watching about 100 a year. I've been trying to like do like a catch-up type of thing. But yeah, you still like got almost double on me, shit. And I've also had the problem now where, because I don't have a lot of free time, I want to see things dubbed. That way I could kind of like multitask and like I'm watching it, but I'm also, let's say, working on a college paper at the same time. So I kind of like, if something's subbed, like even if I want to watch it, I don't end up watching it because it's like, oh, I can't multitask if I do this. So that's like a problem I've been having. And then because of that, I find myself like rewatching dubs that I've already seen if it was like something really good. Because it's like, oh, well, I can't find something else dubbed that I want to watch, so let me just like rewatch some of my favorite dubs. For the record, some of my favorite dubs include Psyche K. I like Psyche K. I like comedy. I mean, I've watched like every genre. I enjoy every genre. But comedy is like the thing that I can rewatch that has a lot of rewatchability for me. So like Konosuba, Psyche K, D-Frag, Sleeping Princess in the Demon Castle, Devil Part-Timer, Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun, Food Wars. Like, those are some of the things that I'll like watch over 20, maybe even over 50 times, just because it's so chill. I've even bought the DVDs for some of those recently, because I couldn't find them on Crunchyroll. Like, I couldn't find Monthly Girls Nozaki on Crunchyroll. I know it used to be on Netflix. I don't know if it's still on Netflix or not, because I haven't really been using Netflix. But I was like, fuck it, let me just buy that. And then Food Wars is on Crunchyroll, but not every season. And some of the seasons that are on Crunchyroll are only in the original Japanese with subs and not dub. So I ended up buying like all 5 seasons of Food Wars. That way I could watch the dub while multitasking. And I also bought freaking the complete series of To Love Ru on DVD, even though I've already seen that. That's not something that I've rewatched a million times. I've only watched it once, but I do want to rewatch it a second time. So I'm kind of glad that I decided to buy that DVD. It was on sale. The complete series, all 3 seasons or so. To Love Ru, Motto To Love Ru, and Darkness for like $40. Because apparently it's like $100 supposedly, I think, when it's not on sale. And Sentai was having, you know, their big holiday sale. If you're not familiar with Sentai, I think they're related to High Dive, that streaming platform. And I think they have a lot of like the Funimation type stuff, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, they have good DVDs. And sometimes they have like super good sales where the DVDs are like $5, $10. And you can watch it subbed or dubbed, however you prefer. So I'm like, shit. I'm so old, I remember we didn't make stuff wheelchair accessible. I mean, I feel like maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like wheelchair accessibility is like somewhat of a new thing. Cause like there's still buildings around that aren't wheelchair accessible. And there are buildings where they're spending a lot of money to make it wheelchair accessible. Like right now, the school where I used to work, I don't know how much they spent, but I know they spent a considerable amount of money to make themselves wheelchair accessible, which was interesting because it's true that they never had like an elevator or anything, and it's true that there was no way to get into the building with like a ramp, for example, but they also never had the need for those types of things because it was a community that didn't really have people with almost any types of disabilities, not even like learning disabilities. It was like a community where everyone was pretty affluent and pretty capable. So I was impressed, and I think they specifically had to get it because of one student. One student was attending the school, they needed those things, and they had to shell out all those thousands of dollars to make it happen. Which, I don't know how the district felt about it. I don't know if the school was like kind of bitter about it because it was a school that prided itself on not spending a lot of money, even though it catered to an affluent community. They're like, hey, we're one of the schools in this region that maintain our budget. So I'm kind of wondering if they were secretly bitter, and I'm hoping they weren't because, you know, they did a good thing by making the school accessible. But I just wonder, man. COVID got those free paychecks. That's all in the last 4 years. I play music when I study. That way I'm less distracted. See, that's why I watch the anime on dub. Because when I'm watching the anime on dub when I'm studying, it shows that I've already watched, right? So I don't have to feel distracted. But at the same time, it gives me just enough satisfaction where it also keeps me on task for my studying, if that makes sense. Like, kind of, it keeps me from being bored, but also doesn't distract me. So it's like the perfect a blend of everything I need. Nice, those are the ones I read. Sweet. Archive the hard to find ones. Physical media might be out of print for a generation or more. Really? Damn, I wouldn't be surprised. Right now, you know what I've been collecting? I'm pretty sure you've heard of these titles, because you seem to be on board with a lot of what I'm putting down. I've been collecting Ichigo Strawberry 100%, the manga. And I've been collecting IS manga, which were both romance, harem comedies from like the mid-2000s. And I feel like those are hard to find in general. Like, you can't really buy all of them on Amazon. Some of them you can, but not all of them. And if you try to get them from libraries, it's gonna be hard to find. So I'm like buying them because I feel like it's something that won't exist one day, or if it does exist, it'll be extremely difficult to find. And it's kind of weird because I wouldn't say they're like my favorite series, but for some reason they hold a lot of nostalgia for me as something that I was never able to finish when I was younger, and I always wanted to finish. So now I'm kind of like collecting it, finishing the story, and also archiving it in a sense, I guess. Tohoru, like the video games? No, To-Love-Ru, like the ones with Lala Devaluke and Momo Devaluke. The reverse, Sentai is the studio, High Dive is the American stream, physical distributor. Well, at the very least, I knew they were somehow related. My friend was the one who, one of my IRL friends was the one who turned me on to High Dive. Although I kinda didn't stick with them because it's more convenient for me to stream from my PlayStation, and they don't have like a PlayStation app. And I'm not a big fan of like sitting in front of my computer. So, yeah. Volgunder, the large demon between the tears. Sony has brought up Funimation and Crunchyroll, and they're stingy with IP. Also, they'll promote their own stuff first. See, I'm really happy with Crunchyroll because, first of all, I can stream it on my PlayStation. And second of all, I work in a library and they give free accounts to libraries. So that's like extra awesome. You love the library for manga/anime? I feel you, brother. You know what sucks though? I'm guessing because you're saying that you love the library for manga and anime, I'm guessing you have like a really good library near you. Because I've been to different libraries in different cities, different states, and I find that most libraries don't have a very extensive or very well curated manga section. And sometimes you get lucky and there's like a library that has a librarian that really knows the stuff and they get like a really awesome, very inspiring collection. But most libraries just don't have that. The cool thing about libraries though is that they kind of have like an alliance where you could get things through interlibrary loan. So if your library doesn't have it, they could get it from a library in another state, maybe even another country, and they'll do it for you for free. Hopefully. I don't know if every library system works the same, but you know, that's kind of helpful. But still, man, yeah, not every library is equally as devoted. It was a powerful fiend to be sure, but its low intelligence was its undoing. It never stood a chance, even though it did defeat me once. You're really starting to piss me off, you know that? But I guess that works out pretty well, because now I'm even more keen on beating the starch out of that collar. Damn. Let's try this one more time. I'm going to tear that pasty face of yours into bloody shreds. What's the matter? Come on, it's time for a rematch. You just never learn, do you? I already defeated you once. What makes you think things will turn out any differently this time? What? You should get some help, or set some traps or something. Instead, you're just duplicating the circumstances of your loss. See, this is why I hate dealing with the unintelligent. I am bitter over Crunchyroll. All my stuff was on Funimation. Can you tell me more about that? Because I know I had Funimation at one point, but I was just streaming. But at the same time, I bought a Psyche K DVD one time, and it came with a code where you could like unlock, I guess, Psyche K on Funimation. So I am aware that I guess you could purchase and like own things on Funimation, and I'm aware that I think that ownership didn't transfer to Crunchyroll. So I'm guessing you may have owned a lot of like digital rights through Funimation that you just don't have now. But like I'm curious, like how is that the case, and if so, how extensive? How much did you lose? Because for me, it was just that one thing, that one Psyche code, and I never even used it because I had the DVD anyway, so it didn't really make sense. And I was surprised when I even got the code, because I didn't know it was a thing until I got the code. But yeah. Though it's hard to believe anything I said could have actually... And that's why I don't buy digital games. And like, why I buy physical games. Because people, I think, have said the same thing, where they lose access to their digital games, which sucks. But then at the same time, I hear that like, the video gaming thing is like... not good because of the extraction of rare metals, and I don't know if that's just in terms of consoles or if it's in terms of physical games too. So I'm like, is it better for the environment to buy digital games, but then at the same time it's not better for ownership to buy digital games? There's so many pros and cons to literally everything, man. The hell is your problem? If you're so goddamn smart, then fine, I'll take your advice. Maybe then you'll understand just what being a little shit and talking down to others really gets you. Manga was terribly curated, but it existed. I think they were confused by Japanese last name going first, and how do you put one in a two-name system? It could be. Yes, I had all the codes, so I wasn't too sad when I lost the physical versions. Then Sony removed that. Oh, lost entire studios. Huh. You know, I do feel like I heard in the past few years that there was a lot of Sony outrage. And I don't know if it was just because of what you're saying now or if there was more to it. But that kind of makes sense, man. We've got I know she said something about how she prefers, I guess, getting her hands dirty with battles, but she's gonna use some tricks. Okay, summarized. You know what this reminds me of? If you've played The Legend of Heroes, the Cold Steel, Trails in the Sky, all those games, especially since Trails in the Sky and Trails Zero and Azure kind of had these graphics. This literally feels like a boss fight from one of those games. You know what it feels like? It feels like if you played Trails in the Sky 3, because in that game there's a lot of bosses that are kind of like demons. So this feels very much like a Trails 3 vibe, Sky 3 vibe. Oh well, let me have some fun with these two guys, I guess. Huh? Oh snap, the two demons are checking her out, bro. They're like, we're not gonna focus on that dude, we got a hot chick back here, son! Hey, what do you think you're doing? Your enemy's over there! The pissy little wizard guy! Well, mining is kind of bad the way we currently do it. We should make mining companies fill back in. I don't know all of the caveats of that. I do know that it's bad. It just doesn't sound good in general. I don't know what all the caveats are, but I do agree that we need to be doing something better. And I think some countries have the potential to do better. Like, you know, Japan seems to be, from the little bit that I know, they seem to be pretty good at recycling. and that's why it's such a hassle to move to Japan, because you have to figure all that out. But in other countries, or at least where I am, it seems like such a bitch to recycle. Like, it's easy to recycle, like, boxes, like cardboard, and it's easy to recycle, like, bottles and things. But then when you have, like, hardware, or, like, DVDs, or, you know, things like that, like, larger items, or even, like, a laptop, or a cell phone, or a battery, like, things like that seem... Or even, like, a water filter. That's a really good example, because I got a new water filter thing. It's like a pitcher, and it's made out of glass, and you put the water filters in, and each water filter lasts for like 2 months, and then it's like, how the fuck am I supposed to recycle this water filter? And then they say, oh, you go to this website, you do this, you do that, and then I go to the website, and the website isn't really telling me anything, and sometimes they have like drop-off locations, and the drop-off location is like in another state, and it's like, dude, first of all, I don't drive. Second of all, if I did drive, I'm not gonna drive to another state to recycle this one thing. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's part of our problem, too. That we need better recycling options, accessibilities. Because it's like, what the hell, man? Before that, Sony removed a PS5 movie. You paid, but it was temporary. Damn. I have those Trails games, but only saw the animes. Damn, dude, you know what? If you like Ys, if you like JRPGs in general, the freaking Trails games are some of the best games. Especially when you get to, like, what I think, if I'm not mistaken, is the 10th game, which is Trails into Reverie. It's not the latest game, but it's, like, the second latest, I think. Like, that game was freaking phenomenal. And even, like, the second game, like, Sky 2 was awesome. I mean, they're all awesome, but, you know, some games are even better than their surrounding games. But yeah, man, that's a series that you would have a banger of a time with. Mining caveat, an entire city in Pennsylvania is on eternal fire. Whoopsies. I did not hear about that. I don't know when that first happened, but yeah, that does not sound good. But yeah, see, this is why we gotta stop doing shit, man. Why the hell are you just standing there? This is why we gotta recycle more, if anything. But like I said, the recycling we have is bad. It doesn't fucking work. Oh, I was on the water filter. Recycling has been a joke for a while. It's complex. It really is. And then sometimes, like, my friend turned me on to, like, this thing that happens kind of close to where we live from time to time, where they do take, it's like a recycling event, and they do take a lot of the things that I was talking about. Like, they'll take, I guess, water filters, they'll take, like, laptops, they'll take TVs, they'll take a lot of, like, big items, and they'll figure out ways of recycling it. But at the same time, that doesn't happen often. And for me personally, it's hard to keep track of when that happens. So my friend, he's been giving me, like, the heads up. He's like, hey, I'm going to the recycling event. Do you have anything? I could take it for you. Which is great. But at the same time, it's like, I only know about that because of him, right? So it's like, we really need this thing. We don't often get it. But they're also not doing a good job of spreading the word for when those events happen. Like, I wouldn't know where to look up the information. If my friend hadn't told me about it, I wouldn't even know it existed. Like, I don't know what's a good idea for, like, getting that information out. Like, I don't know if it helps to, like, put it on the news, or if it helps to, you know, I don't know how they would get it in my face, considering I try to disconnect from a lot of things, like, technologically. Like, I don't spend a lot of time on the computer, yada yada. But there's gotta be a way to get the damn info out, man. Like, you know what? Like, maybe if they mail it, or, like, find a way to email it, like, shit. There's gotta be a way. Or even if they, like, tell organizations about it, and then the organizations tell you, like, hey, tell all the local schools to let their families know that we're doing this recycling event. Hey, tell all the local libraries to let their patrons know that we're doing the recycling event. You know what? Like, do that. Connect with organizations, and have the organizations connect with people to let them know that this is happening. But they don't do that. So it's like, what the fuck? Would you cut the shit already? I'm asking for your help. Just lend me a hand here. Why should I? Sorry, but you made your own bed. It's time you see how it feels to lie in it. Whoa, wait, stop. Remember when I said you reminded me of someone else? Well, if I die here, you'll never find out who. I'm listening. Wow, that actually worked? Okay, one of my companions in this tower is a guy who looks a lot like you. If you help me survive this mess, I'll tell you everything I know about him. Alright, but you better stay true to your word. Oh, well, I only gotta fight one of them. Oh my god, you know what this reminds me of? If you've played Devil May Cry 3, the vampire girl, she kind of does this, like, disassembling and reassembling thing. I don't like this, man. First of all, he's not taking a lot of damage. And second of all, he's doing a lot of damage. Oh, what the frick is that? It looks like just like a fart that came out of his mouth and just spread everywhere and nearly murdered me. I don't feel confident that I'm gonna win this. I think this is one of those things that'll take a few tries. You know what? I also forget that I have a barrier. But I think if I use the barrier once, then the barrier has to recharge. Well, the thing is, my PC is a little underpowered. And it's too pricey on Switch. Huh. That does make sense. Does make sense. You only have Switch? You don't have PlayStations? Because I feel like... I don't know if all the Cold Steel games are cheap on PlayStation. I think like Cold Steel 1 and 2, because technically they're collector's editions, I think, in a sense. So I think those prices usually stay pretty high, like 40 plus. But I wouldn't be surprised if some of the games drop to like 20 or 30. There's gotta be a way. I think it is on the news, at least stuff like paint recycling. Trump's guy is dismantling the post office, an ironically profitable government office. I mean, we'll see if that happens. Because I know they keep saying they're gonna do this and they're gonna do that, but... And I'm sure there are people who are gonna support it and try to sign off on it, but... I don't know how feasible those things are to actually accomplish. I also don't think they're good ideas, but we'll see what the hell happens. You ever fought Dr. Wily's Rock Monster? Those bats are kind of like that. I don't think so, but I do think that there's something else that I've seen. You know what? These remind me also of a boss that was in Ys 1. Which I do find with these Ys games, well, I guess specifically because this game takes place in the tower, which is also a setting in Ys 1. So, like, this isn't the same exact boss from Ys 1, but I guess since it's a similar setting, it would have similar monsters. I guess that makes sense. I feel like I'm doing better than the first time. I'm still not completely confident, though. It sucks because, like, when I want to attack one of them, I feel like I'm getting chased by the other one. Like right now, I could be attacking that guy, but I'm getting chased by these. Well, I died again. You know what? I see that there's like a gauge that's filling up. And I'm not really using it. I think they said that if you press triangle, you get boosted. That's something something I should be doing that I haven't been doing. And I think that helped me out a lot during my first playthrough when I was actually utilizing the mechanics and paying attention. And now I'm trying, you know, although, to be fair, I feel like this is a YouTube, this could be a YouTube thing. Playing Ys without boosts. You know how YouTubers always do those random challenges, make life harder for themselves. This could be my way of making life harder for myself for views. Playing Ys Origins with no boost and no shield. Using level 1 armor. No upgrades. I'm being too reckless because I overestimate how good the shield is, and it's actually not that good. I did really well the second time. I don't know why I'm not doing so hot now. But I will do well again, I promise. Yeah, it'll take me a while. I don't know. I know the second time when I was doing well, I was doing good at bringing the shield up at a good time. Okay, you're gonna let me focus while you recharge? Okay. Hopefully you have a fast, swift, oh god, recharge. No. Shit. Sometimes I feel like the bats aim for me. And sometimes I feel like they're kind of stupid and they're just like not coming for me. Like right now I kind of flew away again pretty quickly. I think if I leave them alone, they kind of leave me alone. Okay. Fuck. I think when they split, the concept of the bats leaving me alone if I leave them alone becomes kind of null and void. And the bats just like oh, you know what? I could boost. I don't know what boosting does though. Like I don't know if I become impervious to damage. It doesn't look like it. I think I just become stronger. I get more bullets, that's for sure. I still feel boosted. I don't feel like a lot of bullets, even though it didn't really do much damage. Fuck, I thought he was gonna recombine there. So I got like all up in its face and he didn't combine. Although it doesn't make sense for me to get in his face at all because then he'll do his freaking breath attack. But at the same time, if I'm too far away, I don't do as much damage. So that's something I gotta find a balance of. Interesting how sometimes, like right now, he doesn't attack right away, and that kind of ruins me, right? Because then I think I get overconfident, and I keep thinking to myself, I could get up in his face, he won't attack me right away, And then other times he'll attack right away, and then I'm like, shit, I shouldn't have done that. So it's kind of unpredictable. Oh, fuck. I wonder, I don't know how to pause the game, and I don't think pausing would really help with what I want to do, but I just remembered that I got an item earlier, and it was a panacea, and I'm wondering if that's like a healing item that I could use. It might not, oh fuck, it might not be, but I feel like there's gotta be something that I have. You know what else? My armor that I equipped now, it's a new armor, since it's technically level 1. I could probably increase the level of it. So if it kills me again, I think I'm gonna let myself not retry. And I'm gonna go back to the statue, and I'm gonna see what improvements can be made. Oh crap. A lot of damage. It's funny because sometimes if I stand away from his breath attack, it doesn't really hit me. But then just now it was hitting me. So I guess I wasn't really standing away from it. See, like right there, I felt like I was pretty far. The dude got me. No! Fuck, man, this is crazy. Oh god, both freaking groups of bats are out. I also feel like my attack is weak. Oh, they got me. Like, I feel like if I had level 3 wand, I would be OP. I feel like I did good that round, though. Like, I was a lot closer. I'm using my boost now, which is good. So maybe if I do upgrade my armor, that should give me the edge that I need. Alright, so my armor's maxed. I don't really have enough SP to do anything else. Can I skip this? Because I don't know if I can skip it. I'll just click through it. Alright. So my armor should be better. I still wish my attack was also better, but, you know, it doesn't really feel like my armor's better. Shit. Feels like I'm taking the same amounts of damage. Look at that, dude. That took a... He's doing like 20 to 30 damage each hit. Which I feel like is literally the same as before. Granted, it is cheap for the armor upgrade, so I guess you shouldn't expect much from it. But, come on, man. Gotta do a little bit better than this. Okay, does the shield have a time limit, or does it only disappear after taking damage? Okay, it does have a time limit, so that's not good. I should kind of... Well, actually, you know what? By the time it disappears, my gauge recharges anyway, for the most part. So it's probably good to just keep the shield up in general. Damn. Oh, you know what? Also, I forget that I have the dash ability. So I really need to use that to outrun these bats. Why are they following me for like 3 laps? They're ODing. Back off, dudes. Go get a girlfriend or something. Okay, this is not going well. Oh no! Oh, dude, I almost had him! I could have pulled up my shield too. Alright, well at least I'm getting a grip of all my mechanics. Like I understand how the shield works a little better. I remembered that I have the dash. I am using boosts. If I could just put it all together, we'll have something here. Oh, I thought he was gonna combine again, shit. And he didn't do that. Aw, man, I was dashing and they still caught up to me. I tried to double tap and dash, but that did not work out just now. Fuck. Fuck. No! I saw that coming and I still didn't do anything in time. Oh damn, I'm not gonna win. I just realized that he has more health than I thought. And I have like none. I thought I was a little bit closer to beating him. I mean, you never know. I still might, but I kinda doubt it. Oh, come on. See, damn. I was pretty close again, too. That's not good. Haven't done any damage yet, and I took damage already. Okay, I will say one thing. If I beat him soon, that's probably gonna be how I end stream. I don't know how long I've been streaming. I know it's probably been over 2 hours though. Traditionally, I usually try to stream for just 2 hours, that way I still have time in my day or night to do other things. And I'm gonna be honest, this battle is tiring me out too, because it's like, damn, dude. Any drive that I would have had to continue on will not last past this fight for tonight. Man, I hate how if your shield takes the hit, you don't have the invulnerability frame along with it. So that second hit is gonna F you. Attack both at once! Damn, I feel very cornered. Oh my god. No, 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 cornered! Yes! Jesus! I was getting scared because, like, since I was aiming diagonal, and I'm not good at aiming diagonal, a lot of the freaking magic orbs were missing from my attacks. But I got them. Well, that was easy enough. Definitely nowhere near as menacing as it seemed. Dude, it killed us like 15 times probably. That was as menacing as it could have been. I almost feel bad for it. Looks like yours is taken care of too. You really saved my ass, thanks. Our source told us the people of Ys are all do-gooders with hearts of gold, but I guess you're a little different, huh? It took some convincing before you agreed to help me, after all. I really thought you were just going to walk away and leave me to get eaten. I probably should have. It would have been a fitting end for you, but I didn't, and you know exactly why not. I expect you to keep your promise, no excuses. Yeah, I get it. You want to know more about the guy who looks like you, right? That's correct. Okay then, man, where to begin? He joined up with our leader about 6 months ago, give or take. He fights using these claws on his forearms, and he's pretty damn good with them. Not much for conversation, though. Can't give you a name, unfortunately, because he never told us his. He just said to call him the Claw, just like Toy Story. How tacky is that, you know? It is pretty tacky. The Claw? And I guess he's got the power to absorb energy from fallen demons or something. Not really sure how that works. But Zava hates his guts because of it. Seems like every demon she summons, he kills. And she gets really attached to her familiars. Oh yeah, I guess you don't know who that is. Zava is this sorceress who serves as an advisor to our leader. She's real creepy. 6 months, well, it's the right time frame, but this whole business with the claws is rather suspect. Could it be someone else? Look at that look of almost yearning that it feels like she's giving him. But what is it? Why are you staring at me like that? Just marveling at how similar you two look. It really is uncanny. Especially when you've got that same angsty look on your face. He does that all the time. So what do you think? You two related? Long lost brothers, maybe? I think I've heard enough. Huh? I said I've heard enough. I'm convinced you've learned your lesson, so I'll let you live this time. But you'd best get the hell out of my sight. What's with the attitude all of a sudden? I've been pretty damn accommodating, if I do say so myself. That was just you keeping up your end of the bargain. And make no mistake, it was a bargain for you. Like it or not, we're still enemies. So unless you want to go one last round to the death, I think this would be a good time for you to bow out gracefully. God damn, I think you might even be more of a sourpuss than he is. It's kind of true, man. I mean, she kept her word. Borderline thought they were having a bonding moment here, and he just ruined it. Well, if that's how you want it, suit yourself. Seems I must have dug up one too many unpleasant memories, so it's probably best I give you time to cool down anyway. But wait. What do you mean by that? Heh. Bull's eye. You want a final showdown with me? Next time. Just make sure you come prepared. I know I will. Damn. She's got teleportation magic. Well, no matter. She's a minor nuisance at best. Clearly not a real threat in any way. But still, 6 months ago, a man who fights with claws on his forearms. Could it really be him? Alright, let me backtrack. Since I know there's a goddess statue if I backtrack. Ta-da! I'm gonna save. And then I think I'm gonna end stream. I mean, I've been yawning since the start of stream, so it's best to end stream. I don't know when I'll continue this. You know, the goal would be either tomorrow or next Saturday, but sometimes things happen last minute, so we'll see. And I'm just kind of surprised that I didn't get... I guess there's only one trophy that I would get for doing a different route as Hugo, and that would be after completing his route. I thought I would probably get like some trophies in between, but I guess since I did Unica's and hers is probably very similar, I guess I won't earn much from this playthrough in terms of trophies. But I think I'm still gonna carry on with it. There are other games that I want to stream, but I'm probably gonna carry on with this anyway. And it's easy to stream games like this also while chatting with people, which is good. And I did enjoy chatting today. So thankfully, Jimmy Bridges was here, yeah! But yeah, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Hope everyone's here next time. Maybe there'll be more people here next time, since I guess my Discord is gonna pick up on the fact that I've randomly started doing a thing again, and that I have the ability again, because I figured out my settings. But yeah, thanks for being here. Nightbot has given out plenty of Discord announcements, so feel free to join and you'll get stream announcements and other opportunities to chat some more. But yeah, take it easy, guys. Thanks for being here. Till next time. I don't actually know how to end stream. I think if I close the game, though, that's pretty conclusive. Oh, wait, here it is. Stop broadcast. 2 hours and 40 minutes in. That's a pretty decent stream. Adios, amigos.